Are you tired of feeling like you're playing a never-ending guessing game with women? Frustrated by mixed signals and confusing behavior? You're not alone. Millions of men struggle to understand what women really want. But here's the truth. She's trying to tell you exactly what she needs. The problem? You don't speak her language. Yet, this video will change that forever. I'm about to reveal 10 crucial things women desperately want you to know, but will never say out loud. Master these insights and you'll gain an unfair advantage in the dating game. You'll be able to read between the lines, anticipate her needs, and become the man she can't stop thinking about. But be warned, once you see female behavior through this lens, you can't unsee it. So, are you ready to step behind the curtain and see what really makes her tick? Let's begin. 1. When she's craving intimacy. When a woman wants sex but feels too shy or culturally conditioned to ask directly, she'll drop hints like breadcrumbs. Watch for sudden increases in physical touch. She might accidentally brush against you more often, find excuses to sit close, or initiate more hugs than usual. Her body language becomes an open book, leaning in when you speak, mirroring your movements, or playing with her hair. But it's not just physical. Pay attention to her conversation topics. If she starts bringing up sexual subjects, sharing fantasies as jokes, or asking about your past experiences, she's testing the waters. She might even create situations that echo romantic movie scenes, hoping you'll take the hint and make a move. Here's the kicker. If you miss these signals, she won't spell it out for you. Instead, she might become frustrated or withdrawn, leaving you wondering what went wrong. So sharpen your observation skills. When you notice these signs, take the lead and escalate the intimacy. She'll be relieved you picked up on her unspoken desire. 2. The engagement ring countdown. When a woman is ready for marriage but hesitant to issue an ultimatum, she becomes a master of subtle hints. Suddenly, her social media feed is filled with engagement announcements and wedding photos. She might casually mention friends who recently got engaged or share articles about ideal proposal scenarios. Pay attention to her reactions when you pass by jewelry stores or when engagement rings appear in movies. Her future talk intensifies. When we have kids, or in our future home, become common phrases. She might start including you more in family events or long-term planning. Watch for increased interest in your career goals or financial planning. She's assessing your readiness for a shared future. If you're not picking up on these cues, she might become anxious or start dropping more direct hints. Comments like, "I'm not getting any younger," or "My parents are wondering about our future," are last-ditch efforts before frustration sets in. If marriage is on your radar, start having open conversations about your shared future. If it's not, be honest to avoid leading her on. 3. The silent cry for financial support. When a woman needs financial help, but pride or fear holds her back from asking, she'll often resort to indirect methods. Watch for an increase in comments about financial stress or complaints about unexpected expenses. She might start window shopping more often, lingering over items she could never afford, hoping you'll offer to buy them. Her stories might feature more financial themes. Tales of friends whose partners helped them out of tight spots or hypothetical scenarios about couples sharing finances could be her way of testing your reaction. Pay attention if she starts asking more questions about your job, salary, or financial habits. She's gauging your ability and willingness to help. If these hints go unnoticed, she might resort to more desperate measures. Suddenly forgetting her wallet on dates or having a series of financial emergencies could be her way of indirectly asking for help. If you value the relationship, open a gentle conversation about finances. If you're not in a position to help or don't feel comfortable doing so, be clear about your boundaries to avoid resentment. 4. The unspoken desire for a breakup. When a woman is contemplating ending the relationship but isn't ready to have that difficult conversation, her behavior becomes a minefield of clues. Sudden increases in me time or girls' nights out might signal her testing the waters of independence. She might start picking fights over small issues, unconsciously creating distance. Watch for changes in her future talk. If we statements become I statements, or if she stops including you in long-term plans, she's mentally separating herself from the relationship. Her interest in your day-to-day life might wane, and she might become evasive about her own activities. Physical intimacy often takes a hit during this phase. She might avoid kissing or sex, citing fatigue or stress. If you notice these signs clustering together, It's time for a frank discussion about the state of your relationship. Don't wait for her to drop the bomb. Take the initiative to address the elephant in the room. 5. The hidden attraction to another man. When a woman has developed feelings for someone else but isn't ready to admit it, even to herself, her behavior becomes a complex puzzle. Pay attention to sudden changes in her appearance or routine. If she's dressing up more often, trying new hairstyles, or hitting the gym with renewed vigor, she might be trying to impress someone new. Her phone becomes her fortress. If she's suddenly protective of her device, turning it face down or taking calls in another room, it's a red flag. Watch for new names that keep popping up in conversation or mysterious work events that she's vague about. The biggest tell? How she acts when the other person is around or mentioned. If she lights up at their name, laughs a little too hard at their jokes, or finds excuses to be around them, her heart might be straying. Don't jump to conclusions, but do trust your gut. If something feels off, it probably is. Address your concerns openly before the situation escalates. 6. The silent request for space. Sometimes a woman needs personal space but fears that asking for it might hurt your feelings or damage the relationship. Look for signs of increased irritability or restlessness when you're together for extended periods. If she's finding excuses to run errands alone or suddenly developing intense interest in solitary hobbies, she might be craving some breathing room. Her communication patterns might change. If she's taking longer to respond to texts or seems less enthusiastic about making plans, it's not necessarily a sign she's losing interest. She might be unconsciously creating pockets of space within the relationship. Watch for phrases like, "I need to clear my head," or "I'm feeling overwhelmed." These are often code for, "I need some me time." Instead of pulling away or becoming clingy, which might exacerbate her need for space, take the lead in giving her room to breathe. Suggest a day where you both pursue individual interests, or take the initiative to spend time with your own friends. By proactively offering space, you're showing that you understand and respect her unspoken needs, which often strengthens the relationship in the long run. 7. The unspoken jealousy and suspicion. When a woman suspects you're cheating or is curious about another female in your life, she rarely confronts you directly. Instead, she becomes a detective, dropping subtle hints to gauge your reaction. Watch for an increase in seemingly casual questions about your day, your whereabouts, or your phone usage. If she's suddenly very interested in your work colleagues or social circle, especially other women, her antenna is up. Her behavior might become more possessive or clingy. She may start marking her territory more visibly, increasing public displays of affection, or mentioning your relationship status more frequently in conversations with others. Pay attention if she starts accidentally going through your phone or social media, or if she shows up unexpectedly at your usual hangouts. If these subtle probes don't satisfy her curiosity, she might resort to creating scenarios to test your loyalty. Sudden requests to use your phone, suggestions to share passwords, or attempts to plan surprise visits are often veiled efforts to catch you off guard. Don't let suspicion fester. If you notice these signs, address her concerns openly. Reassure her with transparency and honesty, or if there is an issue, confront it head-on to avoid further damage to trust. 8. The masked concern about your social circle. When a woman disapproves of your friends or social circle, but fears coming across as controlling, she'll often voice her concerns indirectly. Notice if she starts making more negative observations about your friend's behavior or the impact they have on you. Comments like, "You always seem stressed after hanging out with them," or "I notice you drink more when you're with that group," are her way of hinting at her disapproval. Her enthusiasm for your social plans might wane. If she's less interested in joining you when certain friends are involved or starts suggesting alternative plans more frequently, she's trying to distance you from influences she perceives as negative. Watch for attempts to introduce you to new social circles or old friends she approves of. This is her subtle way of trying to shift your social landscape. 9. The unvoiced sexual dissatisfaction. When a woman is unsatisfied in bed but too embarrassed or afraid to say it directly, her behavior becomes a subtle cry for change. Pay attention to changes in her initiation patterns. If she's less enthusiastic about sex, frequently too tired, or seems to be going through the motions, it's often a sign of underlying dissatisfaction rather than a loss of attraction. Her attempts to spice things up might become more noticeable. If she's suddenly interested in new lingerie, suggesting different locations, or hinting at fantasies, she's trying to inject novelty into your sex life. Watch for increased interest in articles or shows about sex and relationships. She might casually mention tips or ideas, indirectly suggesting areas for improvement. If these hints don't lead to change, she might become more distant physically, avoiding not just sex but also kisses and caresses. Don't let it reach this point. Create an open, non-judgmental space to discuss your sex life. Ask about her fantasies, preferences, and any changes she'd like to see. Remember, vulnerability begets vulnerability. By initiating this conversation, you're paving the way for a more satisfying, intimate life for both of you. 10. The unvoiced concern about the relationship's future. When a woman is uncertain about the relationship's direction, but hesitant to broach the subject directly, her behavior becomes a tapestry of subtle cues. Watch for an increase in hypothetical questions about the future. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or what do you think about long-distance relationships? Aren't just idle curiosity. They're her way of gauging your commitment level and future plans. Her interest in your long-term goals might intensify. If she's suddenly more curious about your career aspirations or your thoughts on settling down, she's trying to piece together a picture of your shared future. Pay attention if she starts making more concrete plans for the distant future and watching closely for your reaction. She's testing the waters to see if you're on the same page. If you have made it this far, let us know what you think in the comments section below. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.